first week of February is when European rugby fans tune in, and the 23rd edition of the Six Nations Championship is bound to deliver plenty of excitement and excellent rugby. After a fantastic underdog win by Wales in 2021, the expectations have never been higher. France are determined to leave the bitter disappointment of last year's narrow miss in the rearview mirror and finally claim the trophy that has eluded them since 2010. And England and Ireland are highly motivated to perform better this time around. Welcome to Betting Expert's 2022 Six Nations Championship preview. We begin by looking at some of the hottest stories coming from the squads before the start of the Six Nations. Perhaps the biggest story comes from England, where Captain Owen Farrell will miss the Six Nations due to an ankle injury that will require surgery. Farrell has been out of action since November and was due to make a comeback at the Six Nations before picking up a new ankle injury in training. France, meanwhile, has been hit by COVID-19, as 11 players have been tested positive, including halfback pair of Antoine Dupont and Romain Ntamack. There is still hope that some, if not all of them, might be back in time for the Six Nations kickoff. Ireland will enter the Six Nations as the healthiest squad and a strong roster. Their impressive form during the fall creates a lot of optimism around their Six Nations chances. Meanwhile, 2021 champions Wales finally have some good news after the initial shock of Justin Tipuric missing the Six Nations due to injury. George North is back in training and might be available for selection quite soon, while Alan Wynne-Jones looks to be defying odds in his rehab and could join the Ospreys for the late rounds of the Six Nations. Scotland are hoping for some consistency in their Six Nations campaign and will rely on young talent this year, including 5 uncapped players in Andy Christie, Carl Rowe, Ben White, Ben Vellacott and Rory Darge. Finally, Italy will rely on their Premiership stars Alex Lukowski, Paolo Udogie and Louis Linark to put together a more competitive run of fixtures in 2022. So, with the main talking points covered, let's take a look at the key betting angles. Now, after a strong full run of fixtures, France are the main favourites for the 2022 Six Nations, where they finally beat the All Blacks for the first time since 2009. The two-time runners-up from 2020 and 2021 are a team full of world-class talent, looking for their first title, as I said before, since 2010. They are bound to start strong again as a massive 35-point favourite at home versus Italy on the 6th of February. England are the second favourites and come with high expectations themselves going into the Six Nations after their win against the world champions South Africa. England are seeking redemption for that abysmal performance in the 2021 edition of the Six Nations, and they'll get their first crack at Murrayfield, Edinburgh on February 5th as a 5-point favourite over Scotland. After their undefeated fall, Ireland are poised for a strong Six Nations and are the third favourites for the title. They opened their campaign at home as a 13-point favourite over 2021 champions Wales. Defending champions Wales and hopeful Scotland are not really well fancied by the bookies and are looking for a surprise, while Italy is, to be fair, considered an outsider once again. Remember to check in at Betting Expert for all your Six Nations tips throughout the tournament, and also let us know who your picks are, and good luck if you do go and place a bet.